Two families of children who died in the 2012 Sandy Hook Elementary shooting are now suing radio host Alex Jones for defamation. The controversial host of Infowars has long suggested the media faked information about the shooting. He talked about it with NBC's Megyn Kelly last June.
All of the parents decided to come out and lie about their dead children.
I didn't say that.
What happened to the children?
I will sit there on the air and look at every position and play devil's advocate.
Was that devil's advocate? The whole thing is a giant hoax. The whole thing was fake.
Yes, because I remember even that day, if I go back from memory, then saying, but then some of it looks like it's real. But then what do you do when they've got the kids going in circles in and out of the building with their hands up? I've watched the footage, and it looks like a drill.
Yesterday, Alex Jones responded to the lawsuit in a video message.
I believe Sandy Hook happened. And early on, I was being bullied by internet folks and others to say nobody died. And when I wouldn't say nobody died in the debates, and then I would actually side with those that said that people did die, they would say that I was a government agent.
NBC's Megyn Kelly, host of Megyn Kelly Today, will have an exclusive interview with one of the parents suing Jones. She joins me now for a preview. This is the first civil lawsuit against Alex Jones in this matter. What do we know about why these parents are suing? Because he won't let up. Neither he nor the people who work for him. This lawsuit is brought against Infowars, and there's an employee named Owen Schroyer who doubled down on these controversial comments after one of the Newtown dads, one of the parents went on with Anderson Cooper, and one of the Newtown dads, Neil Heslin, came on with me. And Neil said to me that he held the body of his dead son in his hands and was making the point that he's had enough. He's had enough of Alex Jones and this nonsense about Sandy Hook never happening. And true to form, Infowars doubled down in the wake of Anderson Cooper, in the wake of us, and went after the parents again. And Owen Schroyer is saying, oh, the bodies were never released to the parents, referring to a coroner's remark that he didn't require the parents to identify the bodies in person, but rather by photograph, which does not speak at all to whether the parents ever received the bodies back, right, which is, of course, what happened so that they could bury them. The point of this lawsuit is to stop it. To stop it once and for all. The point of our speaking to Alex Jones was to expose him for the untethered conspiracy theorist that he is, and he clearly hasn't learned his lesson, because even in response to that, he continues with the nonsense and the lies to the detriment of the Newtown families. You heard what Alex Jones said there in that clip that we just played in response to the lawsuit. He also said Sandy Hook is a synthetic, completely fake with actors. They staged Sandy Hook. The evidence is overwhelming. It just pretty much didn't happen. He has claimed that those remarks have been taken out of context somehow. How can he still make those claims? He tried to say to me, as you heard, that he was playing devil's advocate. And what you find out when you listen to Alex Jones is that he's not wrong that he was under, quote, pressure to say this was a hoax. The people listening to Infowars want him to say that, and a large number of them believe that. Some people think that Infowars is just like it's like an alt-right site, it's like a it's not. This is conspiracy town, right. Conspiracy town. And they did want him to say it, and he said it. And then he'd dial it back a little, and then he'd say it again. And so he's played this cat and mouse game for years, but the Newtown families have to deal with it. And whenever he goes out there and says the stuff that the conspiracy theorists want him to say, the threat levels go up to the families. One of the families that's now suing received death threats. A woman went to jail for threatening death to the Newtown families for this alleged hoax, which they were led to believe happened by Alex Jones. And it's about time someone tried to hold him accountable in the courts. Somebody. Tomorrow morning, Neil Heslin, right? Yeah, so this dad will be back, and we'll talk about it. He came on my show after his son was murdered. He came on my show when we talked about Alex Jones in July, and he's coming on again tomorrow to talk about what he's finally trying to do to stop this nonsense. Megyn Kelly, always good to see you. Thank you. Thanks for stopping by, my friend.